I want to go a little bit more in depth into character changes during the songs than I did in the overview. This gives me just a little bit more time to do some examples and riff a little bit more. As I said at the overview level, if you feel like, no, I got it, you taught me well enough, no need for this video. There's not new education here. There's just reinforcement by some example and more blah, blah, blah from me, and I know you can never have enough of that. To overview what we're about to talk about, we're talking about character change. The possibilities are joining forces, which involves a conversion of point of view, or self-discovery, or resolving a confrontation or conflict, or inflaming it, the opposite, inflaming a confrontation or conflict, and then decision-making. So the first of those, joining forces, where the point here is to convert someone to a different point of view. Look at, I don't know if you know all of these examples. One of the clearest ones is from Cabaret. There's a Hitlerian youth that sings an anthem, a German anthem, Tomorrow Belongs to Me, and it starts him all by himself. It's a very, very pretty, it's a beautiful tune. So, you know, it's a young guy singing the song about tomorrow belongs to me, and someone passes by and that's a lovely idea. Tomorrow belongs to me as well, and the two of them sing, and then three sing, and then four sing, and five sing, and ultimately it's a whole crowd, and it becomes a very scary metaphor for the building of a party that is just unstoppable, and there's a hint that folks are just sort of, you know, blinded by this point of view. That's an extreme example of a character being won over to a different point of view, but you see the shape of it. The same thing would happen for you know, a duet of you know, one of the character A is you know, has a particular point of view. I don't know, make up something. I'm trying to think of it. Is there anything that isn't controversial today? Cats are better than dogs. There we go. Because that's not controversial. The one person, character A, thinks cats are better than dogs, and character B says, you're an idiot. Have you met a dog? And but over the course of the song, character B is, you know, now that you've mentioned all of those good things about cats and all those terrible things about dogs, golly, you're right. Cats are better than dogs. The shape of that song is joining of forces and expanding, putting one point of view from someone's head into somebody else's. It's sort of the metaphor of a musical song, isn't it? You know, when characters, how did I put it here? That you know a person's on your side when they're singing your words. when you know, I've sung a refrain, and then I know that you agree with me when you are singing it back together, and the two of us singing it, you know, together or in unison or in harmony. It's a musical metaphor for the meeting of minds. Handful of other examples that come to mind. Do you hear the people sing from Les Mis, where all the rebel guys are coming together, and the entire townspeople are joining forces. You got Trouble from Music Man, where Harold Hill starts out all by himself saying, "Oh boy, youth is out of control here. You need to give them something to occupy themselves. Otherwise, your world's going to fall apart." And over the course of the song, he convinces the entire town, yes, we got trouble right here in River City. Look at the amazing end of Act 1 of Shrek. Do you know it? It's one of my favorite pieces of musical theater in all times. Shrek, who knew? where the two ogres, Shrek and what's her name, Fiona, are at odds. They are just feuding with each other. They find each other, offensive and repulsive. But darn if they don't find their offensiveness and repulsiveness attractive. And the more repulsive they are, the more it makes them giggle, and the more they bond. And they start off as enemies, and they become like one green one thing. I'm moving on to self-discovery. So a song that in which the character is making a discovery. I gave you a little bit of a warning in the overview, but I'll reiterate it here. Because it's all internal, because it's self-discovery, you want to make darn sure that there is motion in the lyric. There's motion to the emotion, that there is change happening, that there is wherever the discovery is, whether it's early and then early in the song and then a response to it, or it's in the middle of the song and the response to it, or it's late but building towards it. You want the song not to be static. You want to drive towards the moment of self-discovery and then see some kind of reaction to it. The danger of having a song of self-discovery is dramaturgically, your impulse might be to clear the stage and have the character sing about their thoughts, sing about how lonely they are, or how they feel rejected and nobody understands me. I'm the only one of my kind. And so the song is, I'm rejected, I'm the only one of my kind, no one understands me, I'm the only one of my kind, the only one of my kind, no one understands me, I'm the only one of my kind, and blackout. And we all cheer because we feel bad for the person. But there's not growth, there's not self-discovery, there's not change, there's not action. So I caution you that when you've got a solo song, flag this moment in your lyric studies and say, what did Scott say about character? Oh, he said change, not just character spew. It's character change. Want to make them different by the end of the song. We want to watch that discovery. We want to see it happen. Some classic examples are the soliloquy from Carousel. The action of that piece is, this traditional lonely guy discovers, he might be a father, and he's thinking, can I be a father? I don't know whether I can do that. But he says, maybe I could. What would that be like? And he fantasizes, how would I be like with my son? And what if it's a daughter? If it's a daughter, and he starts already having these passionate feelings for this daughter, I would change my life. I would do whatever it takes. I would go out and I would steal and I would die for this daughter. So the journey there is from could I be to a father to I would kill to save my daughter. That's a big journey. Yes, he's alone, but he's got an enormous pathway. It's a very dramatic song with lots of character. That character is different. Billy Bigelow is different at the end of that song from the Billy he is at the beginning of the song. It doesn't have to be as huge a deal as I will kill for my daughter. It can be subtler. Let me give you an example from A Little Night Music. This is Send in the Clowns. I don't know if you know this moment. Desiree Armfeld is an actress, a fairly famous actress, but she's been on the road most of her life, and she's gotten estranged from her family, and she's kind of weary of it all. And late in the show, she's discovering, her life really doesn't add up to very much. It's just silly. It's just trivial. And she comes to it's just goofy, right? Send the clowns. We've been an idiot. We've been foolish. We've been funny. We're a farce. And so that's her discovery. Life is a farce. And I've been foolish. But the important emotional impact is, and I'm okay with that. I am content with that. I realize I've been foolish. What are you gonna do? She said in her biggest Swedish accent. That's the way the song concludes. She goes, "What are you gonna do?" Kidding, that's not the way it ends. But she has a journey of discovering her life has been pretty superficial, and she's been pretty foolish, and I'm okay. It's the same arc. It's just a much smaller version than Billy saying, "I am content with being a father. I will go out and be okay with that." Look at Vanilla Ice Cream from She Loves Me. What's that character's name? Amalia, isn't it? Amalia, I think that's right. When she discovers, is it possible that my co-worker loves me? Is that possible? She discovers that during the song. She's going, why did he mention ice cream? Why did he say he was gonna, what's with the ice cream? Oh my gosh, he has feelings for me. That engenders a high C. Yes, it does. In general, the self-discovery song wants to be in present tense. It wants to be happening now, not a recollection of a self-discovery I had a while ago or last week or a month ago or when I was 9 years old. You want it to happen, here's how I am feeling now. I refer you to Nothing from chorus line. Morales says, I feel nothing. I felt nothing, I feel nothing. Her revelation is in present tense. Yep. Let's expand a little bit on resolving a confrontation or a conflict. The journey here is that there is a conflict of one person has one point of view, another person has a different point of view, and by the end of the song, they've resolved that conflict. I refer you again to Send in the Clowns. Desiree and Frederick, I'll call him Hedrick. Desiree and Frederick have been quarreling and been not hitting it off, and their life has been not very good. They become discontent and things are not good. But they during Send in the Clowns resolve their confrontation. They're going to be okay together for the rest of their lives. Look more clearly at what's the piece called? It's called Reach for the Gun, I think is the name of it. This is from Chicago, where Roxy is the reporters find her guilty, and they're condemning her. You're terrible. You're a murderess. But the shape of the song. So they're at conflict. They think she's a bad one. But over time, because she's saying that you don't understand how things were, and she explains from her point of view. They do this. He I reached for the gun because he did that and I did that. And it's not really my fault. They become convinced of her innocence. In fact, not only convinced of their innocence, they start thinking she's a celebrity, and she herself she grows in stature. Before the song she was. She didn't know how to deal with the press, but by the end of the song, she wants to hear only one. She loves it when they say, Roxy, I love hearing my name. Her growth happens during that song. She changes. Again, this is under the heading of character changes during the song, because in this particular case, they have resolved a conflict, and she changes as a result of that resolution. Yeah? Lastly, decision making. This is a pretty simple blueprint where you put the two things or three things that the character is deciding between or among, and the character is saying, I could do A, I could do B, I could do A, I could do B, and by the end of the song, the character's chosen either A or B. You could think of it as either two choices to do something, or possibly one of the things is, I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to do something. No, I better do something. I'm not going to do something. I better do something. I'm not going to do something. No, I better do something. And depending on what your plot is, you end up with either A or B. So did they change their point of view? Did they stick with their old point of view after weighing the various factors, or are they taken some new action? That's what you want to. And again, the book, the story is going to dictate that. If in this particular scene, the character, and the plot means they're going to continue on the pathway that they have always been on, then choosing between A or B or A or B, and A is the path they've already been on, that's where they're, like reviewing the situation from Oliver. Fagin is thinking, maybe, Fagin the pickpocket, the thief, is thinking, maybe I'll go straight. Maybe I'll give up this life of crime. That's what I really want to do. What are the consequences of doing that? And he weighs going straight. This would happen to me. Ugh, not sure I want that. No. I'd better stay a criminal. On the other hand, I really want to go straight. Well, if I go straight, then I'd wind up with a wife and a house and kids, and whoa, that's too much for me. No, I better think this whole thing out again. I'm staying where I am. So I think he weighs maybe three different things. Of I could go straight. No, I'm not gonna. And at the end of the day, he says, I'm a villain. I'm a villain, and a villain I'm gonna stay. So the decision that he's making is whether I should go straight or not, and he decides not. But in a different plot, could have decided I'm gonna go straight. But the point here is that the character changes. Fagin has become more resolved to be a criminal. He's different from what he was at the beginning of the song. By the end, he's even more resolved to stick it out and probably will never even question again. He's done going legit. Look at Requiem from Evan Hansen. Don't know if you know the setup of this. This is the sister of the boy who's died. So her brother's died, and everybody thinks that she should be grieving more. And so she's deciding, should I grieve more and please them, or should I just be true to myself? I'm not feeling terribly, grievous, but I should grieve. That's what they want. That's not who I am. So she's deciding between the two. And just like Fagin, she's changed at the end of the song by deciding to stick to her guns. Her point of view has not changed, but it's not different. It's not opposed. She still believes it, but it's now fiercer. So it's now even stronger. So her character has changed because she's even more resolved and stuck in her point of view. Look at the journey of Have a Little Priest. This is from Sweeney Todd. This is the moment in which Mrs. Lovett is, they're not making a go of it, and the price of meat has gone up, and the people want the meat pies. She bakes these pies and sells them, but she doesn't know how to make a go of it. And Sweeney, meanwhile, has an opportunity to revenge the death of his wife, and the two of them are together at the end of Act One, and this is under the heading of decision making. So Mrs. Lovett goes first when she decides maybe, you know, you could like kind of do your vengeance thing and we could kind of use the meat from that to put in the pies. She doesn't offer it like, she doesn't say it like that. She pussyfoots around it and says, you know, seems such an awful waste, the price of meat, what it is, if you get it. And so we watch her make a decision of, I am willing to cook humans in my pies, but I'm not willing to go it alone. She wants she wants a partner with in Sweeney. She needs him to get the meat, and he's not interested in her pie making. He's interested in his vengeance, but. She finally gets his attention and says, you know, what a waste. The price of meat, what it is, if you get it. And there's this little ding in the orchestra when she says, good, you got it. Very tiny change. Nothing happens on stage but a little, you know, triangle. Ding. But they are both inevitably, inexorably changed in that one little moment. They have made a decision. He's gonna kill the inhabitants of London and she's gonna put them in the pies. That happens during the song. All right. Two more. As long as he needs me, from Oliver. This is one of those where she's deciding between, should I stay with bad Bill Sikes, says Nancy, or should I leave him? He's terrible for me. He hits me, abuses me. He ignores me. He's an awful man, but he needs me, and I love him, and I'm going to stay. And she oscillates between the two of them, and ultimately says, "Nah, I'm going to stay." Then, lastly on my list is Rose's turn. This is from Gypsy. It's late in the day. She has been. What she's deciding here is, do I go it alone? I put my life behind my children. It was them first, them first, them first. Yes, selfishly she got an awful lot out of it. Them first so that she could, bask in the glory and be successful on their coattails. But she's never been on her own before. She's never had to stand on her own 2 feet before. So during that song, she says, "Okay, all right. I guess they've gone on. It's my turn now. It's time for me." It's a pretty bittersweet decision because she's not terribly happy. She'd rather be with her daughters, but at least she decides, no, I will stand on my own. There you go. That's a whole bunch of examples. There's gobs and gobs and gobs and gobs and gobs more. Just pick a song, any song, and particularly one in which you feel there's a change, and then go through this list and see if you can match it up. Which one of these, processes to make character change is the librettist employing? Or which one of these techniques is being used in this song? I would urge you, when you're stuck for action or when you're spotting a song, look at the shape of the storyline. Look at where is the character different at the end of this scene? What happens during this scene? How do you put it into the song? And can one of these help you here? Is it about conflict? Is it about action? Is it about self-revelation? Is it about resolving? Is it about decision making? What's happening in the storyline? And that will lead you to one of these particular elements. And that then should put a bunch of action in your songs and make you favor writing that song as opposed to one which does not have action or change in it, for which I thank you.